Welcome, CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I am Adam Smith.
Don't laugh. Just because I talk, I'm Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
Oh, wait. No, we're going to do that different. We're going to do...
But we never change because we've been doing this the same for at least 2.5 years.
But it sounded so slick last week. It was... Did we both go...
Our cousins.
Our cousins. Don't worry. No. Fuck, how did we do that? I don't remember. Let's go back to what you know. It just sounded so perfect when we both had the "we're cousins" thing at the same time. It was nice. So this is episode 167, and we are doing Strixhaven once again. No, I'm just kidding.
We would have been if
we didn't do
we had my way.
Week. Yeah. But what are we doing this week? I think we have a kind of a cool idea of an episode that will be stolen by Commanders 2 times
no, pocket
at
change.
Some point. Yep.
Okay, so you came up with the idea technically?
Yeah, so it triggered from listening to Fast Finance, and they had Jason Alt on, and just their conversation was one of them really dislikes Insurrection because it's like whenever that gets cast, that person wins the game. And it's like, it's just a stupid card, blah, 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 blah. And Jason Alt's like, I like it because it's like, it builds up to the game and it all depends on people's board states. And yeah, it could normally wins the game, but it's an awesome card, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, well, it isn't an automatic win. There are things that you can do that aren't counter spells. And I was like, what could you do in that situation that isn't a counterspell or it's a Fury's protection?
And that's so we aren't mentioning counterspells or Teferi's protection because they are the obvious answer. That's why blue can do anything and stop anything. And they're but it's not the only way to interact with spells,
right? And
how to make it work.
So, and Lowry, when I brought this up,
my head around it. I
was gonna say when I brought this up to you about the idea and we were talking it through, you're like, "Hey, let's call it Plan B," and I'm like, "That's fucking genius." So it's the Plan B of your Plan A is Teferi's protection. Hey, I don't exist anymore, or counterspell. Counterspell is gonna solve all these problems that we are gonna come across. Well, we're gonna go through different cards, but
I mean, and a little bit how I looked at it too, and probably why I wasn't really wrapping my head around it. So there's two things that helped me a little bit, but finally I got to the point where I was like, what? Remember when we were talking about like game winners and Bill from Woodbury would post a bunch of cards underneath. This is how you fight against Cyclonic Rift and other cards. And that's what I was like, oh, you know what? He did do that. That's a really good idea. And so that's kind of what we're doing a little bit. And then the other way that I look at like Plan B is you have your Plan A, you have your game plan, and you're doing your thing, but then they cast Insurrection. And so you go into that like, okay, Plan B, what am I doing? I got to survive this somehow.
So the funny thing about that is just coming to me now is a lot of times how I win the game is my Plan B. It's like, I know I'm about to die because the next turn that like this happened with Trombley, he kind of rags on me about that a lot, is when he puts me in the corner and I have to figure out I'm dead on this turn. If I don't find a way and I say go, I'm going to die coming around. And a lot of times you're doing the more gutsy things or whatever, trying to sacrifice or do this and that to figure out the answer to that. So we're going to draw up a scenario and we're going to do Insurrection. No spoilers there. And we're going to say what's going to happen here. And we're going to have some answers that not like answers that you wouldn't have. Some of these cards you might not know of. Some of these cards I didn't know of until I was doing the research of trying to figure this out. And I was like, oh, this is a cool card. I don't own this. And I bought some because it's a good card to have. And I didn't realize that it existed. But we're going to go through a bunch of different things or scenarios in this scenario to survive this onslaught or insurrection. So that is the main topic here. We are also going to do what? There's something else we're going to talk about. Something else.
Savant.
Yep. Stump the Smiths Savant. Yep.
And then our it's not going to be necessarily one spec, but a big Secret Lair drop is out
Right now.
2 days ago. Right now. For
Right
the
now.
next month.
Yep.
And we'll discuss that, what we want, what we think is good value, and how much reading do you want to do. And
you can tell
what
Lowry might not be a fan of one of these drops, which it's always
bitter.
It's always the
every
same
time.
thing. But it's basic, but it's different. You should like this. It's making
it's just basic. It's fine. It's fine. I'm happy with what I have.
How do we make you love basics, Lowry? How do we make you love them?
Have me not play them?
Just make them not exist?
No, I mean basic lands. I like them enough. Whatever.
All right.
They're just basics.
Okay, so that is... Well, go ahead.
We did open up our boxes for our set booster boxes live on YouTube, and we're gonna discuss that a little bit to open up too.
Well, let's talk about that right now. How did it go? We did it live. We're doing it live.
I did just my set booster, and that box was horseshit. It was real bad. It was worse than my normal booster boxes.
This is why
before they put all that shit in there,
I was kicking your ass at battle boxes before freaking COVID hit.
Holy shit. I don't want to go back to that right now.
I was thinking that was perfect. That was like the Lowry box, like just kicking your ass on those. But remember, you had a comeback. I don't remember.
I won like 2 or 3, and then COVID came in and wrecked my flow. But I mean, I got nothing out of my list cards. Like, they aren't worth a penny.
That's the weird thing is I've been seeing typically people get about 1 out of those.
That's what I got last time. I was very like, hey, Monastery Mentor, sweet. The other ones, whatever. But I got nothing.
Yeah,
I got a rare, but it's not good.
You got a foil Mystical Archive.
Yes. And that card was
of Agony, right?
Yeah, Tendrils of Agony, and that card was worth about $1.50. It looks awesome. The foil Mystical Archives look awesome.
Fantastic.
And you're saying that in the collector's box, which you also open on YouTube, they have the etched foil for it as well.
Okay. So it's very interesting. So this is a little specking in this as well. The collector booster boxes are the only place you can get the English versions. They're the only place that you get the foil etched. And by foil etched, it's a really light foil etched compared to Commander Legends. It's you have your text box and your lower text. Like, you have your text box and your picture box. They have on the English, they have like these half circles going around the top and along that. They're in gold. Those are the only things that are etched. Nothing else is etched. On the Japanese, around the text box is it. It's a very thin line is the only thing that's foil etched.
I didn't notice anybody posting this. Would you be willing to do that on Twitter and just take a picture of the etched stuff and post that?
You could do that for sure. I didn't even notice, so I opened the collector booster or the set booster first. And then I opened the collector booster, and I didn't even realize until I was like halfway through it that those were even foil etched. Like, all of a sudden I was looking at it and the light caught it and I was like, oh, like it isn't noticeable at all. And then I kind of went
back. Those are the spendy ones.
The foil etched ones?
Yeah, they're the most expensive versions. Like the tendrils was like $7.
I think that'll change. No, because when I was looking,
I think they're just rarer.
I thought so too, but Fast Finance today, there's whatever came out, and they said that they're printed more, but it doesn't make sense to me because at least with the English versions, you can get the full art foils in regular packs. You can get those in set packs. You can't get the etched ones in any of the other boxes that are open. So I don't think that one's only collectors. So it
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think it's the other way around. I think there's misinformation there, but whatever. Maybe I'm wrong. But they were under the impression that the etched ones are getting printed a lot more, whatever. But it doesn't make sense because you're getting how many foil?
How many of them showed up in a box versus a foil? I only got one foil.
Okay.
Mystical Archive in my set booster.
I think I got 1 or 2.
No, that's not accurate. I got 3.
You got 3 foils? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was like, I think I got 2 or something like that. But yeah. So
strategic planning, tendrils, and then a blue counterspell.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's what I got.
But where you're saying with the foil etched, I was picking those up cheaper on TCG than the foils.
Were you? Okay.
Foils were higher for me when I was going through, because I like this so much that I went to TCG and I'm like started picking off the lower mid-range ones, not the really high ones. Good for me moment.
Oh, good for you.
I did, you can check out the video, did pull a foil demonic tutor in Japanese, which I got to get another one.
Oh,
there's a lot of those.
Good for you.
Yeah, well, it looks gorgeous.
Oh man, it looks awesome. So, but yeah, the foil etched is, I wish it was more like Commander Legends, but it's still kind of cool. It's different, but it's not that dramatic. It's just, it almost fits because I think they might be more desirable for most people, because the people that don't like foils, I think will like these.
Yeah.
And there's a big population of people that don't like foils because of the curling and, potentially getting.
Can we talk about that though too? This set,
it's flat.
They're fucking flat.
They're flat. Yeah.
They figured it out. What? Like, thank you. Like, well, I'm actually mad. I can't just find my foils randomly in a box now. They're just flat and hidden in there. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm not having to.
I mean, it looks gorgeous. I love that they're flat.
This is the dumb thing. So I have my specs all in the fat pack boxes, and then I have those labeled alphabetically or whatever. My Commander Legend specs are sitting on the bottom of the specs box with all the specs on top of it, so they flatten out. Because that's how terrible they are. So that might have them laying down.
Can you find the foils in there? There's 3.
No, there's a gap, but no, I can't see any. Yeah. There you go.
Good job.
So
good job, Wizards. Fucking finally.
Go back to Cal Time. Did that have curving? I can't remember.
Fuck yeah. Their non-foils were curving.
Okay, so it is something that they just did here. I don't know. Maybe it's adding in.
And it just was worse from before.
Mm-hmm.
So like Commander Legends was like, they're unplayable almost. Yeah. I think they're a little bit better now, at least for me. And that might be because like, might have been just like super dry in winter.
Yeah.
For Minnesota, like fucking, I saw people making lampshades out of their foils. You know what I mean? And it's less extreme now, but it's still clearly there.
Yeah.
But Kaldheim was like bad, but not like Commander Legends was the
worst. The worst out of everything we've.
But I know that people have been complaining about the foil since Ixalan, right? That's a couple years now, and they were never flat. These are flat right now. So hopefully they figured that out, whatever it is.
Maybe it has to deal with the mystical archives and having the foils with that and the full art stuff. And I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it. That's why mixing in. Well, they had foil etched with. That doesn't make sense because Commander Legends. They just changed their way they did it, I guess. I don't know. But yes, they need to keep it this way because
whatever they did, they need to bottle it and use it every set. And
you'll never get a complaint again.
Yeah. I mean,
not complaints about the curving.
We should be fucking thanking them for figuring it out.
Yeah.
Like just being thankful because it's a premium product. Hopefully they do it within Secret Lair and just everything that they're doing, whatever it is. Because I remember when they're coming out with like from the Vault series.
Oh, and man. Remember that one
fucking curve, like crazy. Those are the second worst behind Commander Legends. What were the premium deck series, like the Sliver ones and the Burn and the Black Reanimator deck? Do you remember those?
Kind of.
fucking hardcore. They were like all foil decks, and they were really curved too. So like
the one that was really curved
were...
was wasn't it the one with ink eyes in it too, with one of the from the vault? But the problem with those
that was a pre-release.
Was it a pre-release? I thought Ink Eyes had the. Now you're having me look it up.
Oh, there's the FTV 20 that it was in. So yeah.
But the problem with those Ink Eyes, that one had all of them have a cut on the wrong, like one side is cut bad, unlike all of those. But anyways, random facts.
So, but they figured it out. It looks great.
So you didn't open any collector stuff, so you only got to see basically online. What do you think about the Japanese stuff? Like as people in Discord were posting, how do they just, dude? I want you to see them in person. They look so freaking fantastic.
Yeah, I dig that art. I probably need to break down and start collecting some of that. Some of it. That's
the funny thing is, it's made me go for the first time ever. I'm like, I'm finishing this damn set, not like the set of Strixhaven, the Mystical Archives. I'm trying to get every single one of them. It kind of helps when you get the most expensive card out of it. You cut out $210 right there. So
would you be like, I need that Demonic Tutor foil?
I probably wouldn't be doing it if I did. Fuck that.
I'm good.
Yeah. I still need the really expensive one. So and to be honest with you, I think not my favorite art, but my favorite of Teferi's Protection. The Teferi's Protection in this, not necessarily the Japanese one, that one's good, but the English one, I think that's like the best representation of Teferi's Protection. Like it's my favorite. I think even out of the Secret Lair, out of the original, out of like the Japanese, I think it's my favorite, and I didn't get one. So that's what I'm trying to get. Wah, wah, wah. I need to get to the boys one. All right. So open to box. You didn't get to play any league games. We got one league game going for opening weekend. I think people are still waiting on boxes. Certain people didn't have all their stuff yet. Like you were actually opening your box while we were playing the first game. So we added in the rocks, which was a good idea. It makes everything a little bit more efficient. The mono rocks from Commander Legend.
I wasn't even thinking about that too, because like with the Mystical Archives, I'm guessing the power level is higher.
Yeah, you have some dancing dog back there. Is that why you stopped?
He's laying down now.
You gave him a look. You're like, you better lay down.
No, I knew he was going to lay down. I was just giving him the time so that hopefully you can just cut that out. Just cut that half second out.
If you're watching, I know you said you've been watching the YouTube of it. I don't cut barely anything out of the YouTube, so that'll be in there.
Sweet. So but the Mystical Archives should up the power level of the Commander in general, right?
Yeah, it's pretty.
I think I've only cut like 3 of them from what I can use out of my red-blue deck. And so,
do you have your deck done?
Mostly. I got to cut like 8 more cards.
Dude, I did mine in like 2 hours. Come on now.
You did great. I'm proud of you.
But
cutting cards is so hard. Oh, that's a good point. Mega Dankbot from Insight Brewing.
It's my free 30-day trial of Mega Dankbot.
What?
Look at that. Look at.
Oh, is that what it says?
My free 30-day trial of Mega Dankbot.
I'm not reading. I'm on a podcast. I want to listen.
You just read it. You were the one that was reading what I was drinking.
I'm just having amber ale from Waconia Brewing. Got this for my birthday from the in-laws.
Nice.
And solid company, solid amber ale. I dig it.
These are all right. I think they're almost a little too hoppy for me right now. I'm wanting to go back to sours. I haven't had sours in a little bit, but
so good.
I went to the doctor this week or last week and got my test results. I haven't had a gout flare up because my meds are working. Woo!
Good.
So that's why
Maybe
I'm
I should
drinking
go
beer. It actually it helped a lot. I mean, they said my levels are good and all that stuff. So my old man gout stuff gone. You should definitely do it, Larry.
Like, you got to keep on taking the medication, or
Yeah, they want me to do it for 3 more months, and then we'll see where I'm at after that.
Okay.
See.
All right.
So that's
I'd
where
be
I'm
down
at.
because it's not fun. I had I've been having like slight flare-ups
It's nice to not
consistently
worry as much about what I'm eating. Like I'm still like not drinking pop and all that stuff, but now I'm not as worried about beer or mushrooms and all that stuff. And that
What
would
the fuck?
mushrooms have uric acid in it. So
Are we talking about like
not
psychedelic?
drug mushrooms.
Well, you put it in with beer,
Whoa,
beer
man.
and
Beer and
mushrooms. Like, what the fuck?
I gotta stop taking my mushroom daily dose. You know,
You microdosing? Or what,
yeah,
what's going on?
My daily trip. I just gotta cut that out.
What is going on?
You know, also the cocaine isn't good for the gout.
No. I don't think any illicit drugs are going to be good for gout.
And they said I got to lay back on the acid. I was like, what?
What?
I like when walls melt. What? I've not done any of those drugs, by the way.
When you
honestly,
think that that's happening, you're really going, what?
Yeah.
Like, why are
I
you
was
talking
with
like
friends
that?
in college that I was like their safety or whatever when they took shrooms. And it was pretty crazy because they were just like yelling at me to stop making the chair melt into the floor. And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like they were freaking out. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I'd probably stay away from them.
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't seem like something I want to do. I'll just watch you and I'll just get stoned. How about that? I can stay with the pot. I don't need to do the old melting into the floor trick. That doesn't seem very fun.
Nope.
We're gonna get a lot of people
Tags.
disagreeing with us. Yeah, let's get to
They're
tags.
gonna be like, mushrooms, acid, all of that stuff is very healthy. They're gonna tell it. They're gonna send us studies.
It's just my doctor told me I got to stop doing it because of my gout.
Yeah, peer pressure.
All right, let's get to the things that we missed last week.
Oh yes,
we had 2 new patrons last week, and we are jackasses and forgot to say welcome to the Meat Force, which Larry will do in a second. But Thomas and James Yates are our 2 new patrons.
Welcome to the Meat Force.
There we go. Thank you guys for becoming a member of the Meat Force here. And you can become a member as well. If you donate $1 or more, gets you into the Discord that allows you to play Battle Box League. It allows you to hear on Snipped.
Hey, you know what?
I kind of need like
3 to 2 people enjoy it. I'm guessing.
And we haven't even gotten complaints when I don't put it up. So I'm just like, I don't even know how you just do it. Like, all right, if people really want that, I'll put it up. We just need to have a.
That's true.
I will keep
That's
recording.
True. Nobody's like, hey, where's Unsnipped this week?
Exactly.
And, except for Jaws threatening hell on me if it's released late by you last week. Gotta get that guy.
You know
back
where
to
he was attacking you is because of your attack on him on the podcast. That's what he was getting on you. It wasn't an attack on him. You were just saying this. You were going to use Ink Shield on Jaw.
Yeah.
You were going to bait him. And you're like, I'm getting you, Jaw. And
yeah.
Yeah. And then that's why he went after you.
So
okay. So $1 more gets you in the Discord. Unsnipped. If people really want Unsnipped and want to hear it, let me know because then I'll put it up. And then $5 or more gets you the proxy of the week each month, depending on whatever tier you're at. If you're $100 or more life member, you can pick any proxy for whatever tier you're at. You can pick any proxy from the proxy of the week. Any of them that we've ever done for what, 2-3 years now? Any.
But if you stop becoming a patron, then we cut you off.
Yeah, you can't keep getting it. And then
how that works.
We do have, before I get into the YouTubes here, we do have 1 week left of the giveaway for Twitter, and for patrons are just automatically in if you're $5 or more. Just jump on Twitter, just retweet, like, and also follow us. We need followers with
And
that.
everybody that retweeted and did all that stuff week 1 and week 2, they got lucky because there aren't a third week. So there's at least 1 week less of people doing it.
What? Now you got me
on
confused.
Twitter. Can you cut that? Maybe it doesn't make sense.
I still posted it last week.
Yeah, only 2 people retweeted it.
Well, because I'm telling people to retweet the original post. So if you've already tweeted it, you can't retweet it. You
can't double tweet it.
Because that's how
you can't double tweet a second tweet.
You can't double stamp as a triple stamp.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just go on there. This will be the last week. It will end on the 1st, and then we will draw our winners next week, actually, on the cast. So, and I have the cards right here. You can see them. Oh, that one's upside down. Nope.
Nope.
Keep you that way.
What's going on? All right. So
Yawgmoth.
Adam is going to stop taking mushrooms before the cast.
Yawgmoth and Kiki Jiki from the Time Spiral Remastered non-foils are what we have up. So, all right. You can jump on YouTube. That is the free way to support our show. Jump on there, subscribe, like a few of our videos, including Lowry's Curated MTG what was this week today?
This Monday was Soul Exchange, which is black sorcery, and then you exile a creature you control and bring a creature back from your graveyard into play. Really cheap. It's like under 50 cents. Fallen Empires, probably the best card from Fallen Empires, let's be honest.
Whoa. What is the Rainbow Veil?
But that's just
okay, sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
It's something that people should consider when they're putting together reanimation packets. Packets. I do a lot of fruit packets right now for the kids. So, little one's constipated.
I just like that your face was like, that word wasn't right.
But I didn't know what the right one was.
I love that we got the YouTubes with it, because it's just, you can see the reaction was just like, well, that like hits you. You're like, I'm gonna try to keep going with this.
And so, but also if you exiled a thrall, you get to put a 2/2 counter on that creature,
which is crazy. A 2/2 counter.
Yeah.
Who was mentioning that? That was number 2. Hey, number 2. Oh man.
They were wild with the counters back in the day.
Yeah, because they had like -0, -1 counters. You had all those different counters there.
Contagion has -2, -1 counters, like 2 of them.
It's like how do you represent that? But yeah, so that was an interesting one, because I might own that card, but I don't know if I do. But I don't remember ever seeing that card. So once again, good job, sir. You got another one that I did not.
Thank you.
And it's a good card. I like it, because you sacrifice just a crappy creature and bring back.
Well, it's exile, not quite sacrifice. So there is that little bit of a difference. Like when you sacrifice a creature, you are able to bring it back later. With the exile, it's just going to be gone. So I think you want to like target a token. A token. Yeah.
And then, so that's Curated MTG. We also have Proxy of the Week. Last week I did Wandering Archaic.
Yeah.
That one was an interesting one, because I did the front. That was really easy. I did it in 9 minutes. And then the back, I had to, because I didn't have a good image of the back, like a good quality image, which you said Matt actually might know a way to do that. It's behind the scenes type of thing.
Oh, he did say, yeah.
So I had to just pick a different background. And then what I did was I took Wandering Archaic from the front side and used him in that, and kind of built my own scene with him. So that was kind of fun.
And showed him wandering.
Yes, he's just like, what is going on? But I kept everything kind of similar. There was a mountains, Gandalf. There was swirlies with because in the backside of Wandering Archaic, it has like the mountain itself swirling, or some ice or something like that. And you have some birds. In this one, it had all that same stuff. So I was like, hey, this one works. But anyway,
and from the quote from Jaw, this card fucks. So I mean, the card seems crazy. That's why it's number 1 on our list for
the dumb thing is
saving.
I spent twice as long building that backside. Oh,
Shouldn't have even done it.
And like you said last week, you're like, you don't even need the backside, but I built it. So this is the first double face card for Proxy Time.
We should have made the front, and then on the backside, right, don't cast this side.
Yeah.
And that'd be the proxy.
Be so yeah, that's the backside that no one will ever see. It's beautiful. It looks awesome, but you'll never see it. So that was Proxy Time. You can check out those videos. This week will be, actually, I'm going to give a little preview to this. It'll be the Digi token for Wandering Archaic. So first time doing the Digi token as well. I need to stop pointing with my pen because I'm pointing at you. All right, let's keep going because we're 30 minutes into this and we're not even to the tags yet. Okay, and then we did the live cast. We're going to start doing live opening boxes. We will have championship games on there, just the tip videos. You do it twice a week, the curated. So that's also on there twice. You can also check out Twitter where you see Proxy of the Week, Curated MTG, Not Sharing with Adam, which Larry just did before the cast, and Mail Day stuff. And you can also direct message us there, or you can email us at Gmail. CommanderSmiths@gmail.com. All right, that's it. Let's get going. I do not have an opener for this one.
What?
Well, because no.
Savant.
Shoot, okay.
Oh, good for you.
I just had to play that on the way.
That's not right.
It's time for everyone's favorite game show, Stump the Smith Savant. All right, if you guys don't know how this game works, I am going to read the flavor text of a card. Lowry is going to take that and he's going to try to guess what that card is. He is going to ask yes or no questions. If he gets it right, he will hear, or if he gets a yes, it's going to be
hello, boobies.
You can hear that. If he gets it wrong or a no, it's
wrong.
Every wrong guess is minus 10.
I got my son to say that.
Did you? Wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Perfect. Every wrong guess is minus 10 points. Every clue I give is minus 5 points. Starts with 100. Points don't matter. And here we go. This one is also from AJ. Got another listener, Mr. AJ.
Thank you.
Sent this one in. So we're just doing one. We're doing one from now on. We're doing one.
Soul Ring.
Fuck. No, I'm just kidding. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Bathed in deep crimson, the land that once gave comfort and shelter now yielded nothing but hostility.
So bathed in crimson makes me feel like it's red. Land makes me feel like it's potentially green. And then the last part makes me feel like it's black. So I would say what?
You're just hitting all the colors.
No, I stopped. Is this a permanent card?
Hello, boobies.
All right. Okay, is it... Okay, reread, please.
Bathed in deep crimson, the land that once gave comfort and shelter now yielded nothing but hostility.
And the hostility part makes me feel like it's black a little bit, but it says a lot more like red-green in my mind. Is this a red card?
Hello, boobies.
All right. Is it a multicolored card?
Wrong.
So we are a red card. And bathed in crimson. Reread it, please, again.
Bathed in deep crimson, the land that once gave comfort and shelter now yielded nothing but hostility.
Like, is it Blood Moon?
Hello, boobies.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Woo!
Only one wrong guess. And I didn't even... Okay, so his hints affects the entire board. Number 2 was the more colors an opponent plays, the worse it is for them. 3, there have been 3 different arts, but all show the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy.
Is there 3? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you have the original Blood Moon, which is the dark one, you know, or whatever. And then they upgraded it to, what was it, the modern, was it Masters 20? When was that one? Is that Masters 25? I have to look it up.
I don't think Masters 25 has any new.
Blood Moon went, Double Masters was the other one. Where it has like the skull almost in the moon, it looks like to me every time I see that art. And it almost looks like it has a fisheye lens because the ground kind of curves up. And then we have the new Double Masters one, which is looks like the top of a volcano with the moon on it. So
yeah. No, it's dope. Good choice.
Good stuff. Way to go. Thanks, AJ. If you guys want to send in your Stump the Smith Savants, just send us with the email and just make sure, well, like AJ did for Adam's Eyes only, and label it Stump the Smith, and Lowry will not look at it. Now, I don't even know where to go with this because I don't have an opener, so I guess we just do like...
I love boobies. I love gazongas. I love knockers and chimichangas. I love melons and bonbons.
All right, cutting it off there because I don't want to get it flagged on YouTube to not be able to copyright crap. All right, so what we are doing here, this is Plan B, new segment. We're going to continue this with other cards as well and get a better opener than boobies, but boobies are always nice, so that works. But how this works, and pretty much every one of these is going to have this stipulation. We're going to give you a scenario. You don't have counters, so sorry, blue players, but you will have other things that you can use as a blue player. And you have no Teferi's Protection, because Teferi's Protection is just kind of the answer for everything. Like, it's always kind of like a counter, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
So we're removing those 2 from this scenario, and we're going to give you a bunch of other things to counteract this. So in this particular scenario, which again mentioned at the beginning of the cast, this was kind of a discussion that was happening between Jason Alt and the guys at Fast Finance, and just saying that Insurrection gets cast and it's pretty much a game winner. And there's a lot of cards like that where you're like, oh, this is a game winner. We actually did segments on that, or what was it called? It's Too Late. What was it? It wasn't Kill on Sight. That was the Kill Him. But then we had the Kill on Sight cards. You remember what it was?
I think we just had game winners.
Game winners. Oh yeah. So these, we're going to come up with this scenario here, and we have some answers that aren't counterspells or Teferi's Protection. So in this particular scenario, Insurrection is getting cast on the board. They have the win. So if this resolves and everything comes through, they're going to be able to kill all the other players, including you. That player also, so this kind of gets rid of what's one card you had mentioned when we were texting.
Homeward Path.
Homeward Path. Go ahead. What does that do?
So it's a land, and you can pay 1, tap it, and then all players gain control of cards that they own.
So that would directly counteract Insurrection.
Yeah. So like if and the reason why, because like that's obvious that they see it untapped, they're not going to play into that necessarily. Right. So that'll delay it. But at the same, like, are we using it? No.
Right.
But if we played in our play group, if we played Insurrection like Adam plays Cyclonic Rift, then it'd be in all of my decks.
Whoa, wait.
If I had something that would...
Insurrection is in... Remember how much red I'm playing? It's in every single one of those damn decks.
Yeah,
so
I haven't played you in over a year.
I know.
It doesn't count. But so it's in like 2 or 3 of your decks in the last year. That's fine.
It's like 7. I'm just kidding. It's all red. That's all it is.
Unlikely.
Red.
But if I had something that would stop Cyclonic Rift like Homeward Path to Insurrection, it'd be in all my decks. Yeah. Every deck that especially colorless land.
That'll be coming up in future episodes when we can figure out Cyclonic Rift. So, but with this, what we're doing is the scenario is this player is cast this spell. sees what's on the board. They're not a dumb player. They know what's on the board. So we had kind of discussed a little bit beforehand, propaganda and ghostly prison and crawl space and stuff like that.
That's being accounted for, and they could kill you.
Yeah. So we're making the scenario that they can kill you. So these are different things that we're not being specific as in you're building your deck just to deal with insurrection. These are things that could be in your deck for other purposes that you could use here that have multiple purposes to make this card useful. So player casts insurrection. It is resolving or whatever's happening in response. We have about what?
It's on the stack.
It's on the stack. What are our categories? Let's go through our categories first. Go ahead, Lau.
So we have sack outlets. Like what? But it can be a way. You have flicker effects, which is different than blink.
Flicker,
and we can kind of get to that.
Yeah. The delayed blink kind of thing.
You have removal, and you have prevention, which generally is the best. Instead of going into plan B, is just to use prevention, but or protection, whatever.
It's always good to use
that was a condom joke. Yeah. Whatever. That's fine.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with the free or the sack outlet package.
So why are we talking about sack outlets?
Sack and package. What? Why are we talking about sacking?
Why?
Okay.
Yeah. Why? So we are saying that if somebody casts insurrection and they have the board, everybody dead, and we're going, if you can sacrifice your creatures, that's going to change the combat math, right?
So
that's what we're saying.
You may still be dead, but the
game isn't necessarily over then.
You may save somebody else, or you may save yourself. You know, as the insurrection player, if a person sacrifices all their creatures, I'm not killing that person because they no longer have creatures at the end of this. I'm going to kill the other two that I just stole the creatures from. And then when this all resolves and I say go, that player no longer has creatures and they're an easier threat to deal with than the other two. So most likely in that situation, you're also saving yourself. But
and again, also you're probably dead, but you're at least giving yourself a chance.
Yeah.
And so it's just a thought of just going like, okay, what can I do to at least save someone to at least fight back against this jackass?
Yeah. So a couple, and we're going to kind of burn through some of these, just give you ideas. Some of them will pop up on YouTube. The more, I guess, the better ones or the more focused ones will stay on longer. Look up the other ones if you don't know what they are. But should I start with the one that I don't really, it's kind of by itself in a way, but Attrition would be a good one, which is not a free sack outlet.
Yawgmoth in that as well.
That would work as well. So what does Yawgmoth do again? So that's a free sack outlet.
Yeah. And so Yawgmoth is from Modern Horizons, but you sacrifice a creature and then you draw a card and put a -1/-1 counter on another creature.
So you're lowering their power down of other people's creatures. You're drawing
along with taking power off the board on your side. You're refilling your hand. And Attrition, like you were saying, like you're paying a black, sacrificing your creature, destroying target non-black creature. So you're shrinking the board.
Yeah.
And that, that player playing Insurrection's like, well, like I understand that, but like you were saying, if somebody's sacrificing their creatures, they're not necessarily a threat after this either.
But I do like that Yawgmoth is probably the better play because you're gaining cards off of your sacrifice.
You lose a life as well, but
you're gaining. Yeah, it's probably better than taking a shit ton of damage from whatever creatures you have out.
It's also free.
Right. And another thing that's free that's similar to that isn't as good, but like Viscera Seer or Woe Strider, those are free sack outlets, but you're scrying. So you're not getting that draw advantage that you are off of Yawgmoth. I also had listed on here like Goblin Bombardment. You could take out maybe another 1 or 2 creatures, but it's a free sack outlet. You're doing 1 damage by sacrificing yours, or maybe you're doing it straight to the face.
A lot of people use Phyrexian Altar and Ashnod's Altar.
I have that.
I don't play them a lot. And
they have to fit
in this
in
situation,
the type of deck. Yeah.
Yeah. In this situation, like it gets rid of your creatures, and it might be all right if you're like able to use that mana as well. But sometimes it's just like getting cards off board to make sure that somebody or you don't die type thing.
And also along the altar, you could put Altar of Dementia, but that really is only going into a certain deck. You know, you're more of a mill kind of deck maybe with that one.
I think I just cut it from my green-blue Essex deck. I had like a small mill package, and I was like, nah, I got to get rid of it.
So one I thought was interesting that I kind of liked above others with free sack outlets, besides like the Yawgmoth, I think is probably one of my favorites, but this one can go in every single deck. But I have used this a couple times with Spawning Pit, because what Spawning Pit does is you're free sacking, and I believe it's for every 2 counters, or is it 3 counters that are on it?
2.
You can pay 1 and get a 2/2 off of that.
Yep.
And so the reason why I like that a little bit more in this situation, in this particular situation, is you're sacking all your stuff, and then you're not necessarily getting hit with the crackback of whatever they stole from everybody else. You can pay 1, get a 2/2, pay 1, get it. You have blockers, so you don't necessarily die on that crackback. So that one I kind of liked for not only surviving, but you might actually still have a field afterwards after the dust settles there, and they'll probably at that point just attack the other 2 players. So that one kind of stood out to me a little bit for being used in every type of deck. The one green one I have is Greater Good, which really, if you're desperate with that, you may be just discarding your hand because you're sacrificing things that aren't that big and whatever. But
I mean, yeah, if you're in desperation mode, but you know, Greater Good's going to be in there for reasons like drawing cards. It's a really good card, so that's just something that you're going to be using in general anyway. A lot of these cards are really good cards.
Yeah, and like you just said, Greater Good would probably be in a deck. Your green deck would probably have big creatures, so
it's really in my Nayeth deck.
You really don't want those big creatures coming back at your face, so you probably will get card advantage off of that. You're not really putting Greater Good in a deck that you're playing a bunch of 1/1 tokens. You know, that just doesn't make sense. So Greater Good's a good one for that. I had Thermopod in here, but that just fits in with the Ashnod's Altar.
I like that. So Adam showed me his list, and then I talked my list to him after seeing his.
I just put
I did not write down Thermopod.
I put down everything.
That's nuts.
One thing did I mention? I don't know if that was in there, but the Phyrexian Plague Lord was an interesting one. Kind of has a similar thing as
Yawgmoth,
because you're putting -1/-1 counters on other people's creatures. You don't get that draw.
It doesn't put counters though. It just gives it until end of turn. Yeah. So that's that. It was still a good card back in the day, but it's aight.
And then we kind of talked about this in Unsnipped, but Synthetic Destiny was pretty interesting, I thought. I know you didn't like it as much. It's high casting and you're in blue, so it's like, why aren't you playing counters? Well, because I'm Adam and I don't like to play counters. So this would be my counters. But that one is 2 blue and 4 colors, instant. You exile all the creatures you control, and then at the beginning of the next end step, so you get around that them coming back into play that turn, because they would just take whatever you brought. But at the beginning of your next end step, you reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal that many creatures that you exiled, and then they just come into play. So this card was interesting because I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. You can play this in like a counter deck, 1/1, like little creature tokens, not countering, and get big creatures in your deck. So but you didn't like it because of the 6.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things here is like, I think having that much mana up is unrealistic on a consistent basis. And so like 3 is probably where I like it, and anything more than that I would consider kind of unreliable. To have open, because like you, I like to use my mana, and I'm not necessarily an instant speed player, even though, you know, I should be, or whatever, but I enjoy different so it's just kind of like leaving 6 up just in case somebody cast. And there are other situations where Synthetic Destiny works. And then it's random, so you're not really getting what you want potentially.
If you have that card in your deck, you're planning.
Yeah.
You have other plans. So
it's just not a whole ton of decks where this goes, in my mind.
2 more cards I want to say on this part. One is from Strixhaven, which is pretty sweet. I actually like this card a lot, but it's Plumb the Forbidden. And that is the 1 colorless, 1 black instant. As an addition to this spell, you may sacrifice 1 or more creatures. When you do, copy the spell for each creature sacrificed. You draw a card and lose a life. So it's Yawgmoth, but just the drawing card part. So, but that's on a spell. It's only a 2-drop. This card I think is pretty interesting. Yeah, I like this one because it gives you the card draw and everything. But my one of my sleepers that I didn't even know about, and we talked unsnipped at this one. But what is it? Martyr's Cause. This is 1 white, 2 colors for an enchantment. You can sacrifice a creature, prevent all damage to a creature or player, and actually the errated text is to any target, so you can prevent it for planeswalkers as well. Prevent all damage to a target from a single source. So you could sacrifice your whole bit and be like, that doesn't do any damage, that doesn't do any damage, that doesn't do any damage to me. And
I dig that.
Yeah. This seems like an interesting card. Foils of these are very low inventory, BT dubs. Just saying.
Just saying.
But also just saying, I did pick up 3 of them, and 1 is from my line. So it helps me out too if you buy some. Being transparent. But yeah, there is only 9 copies. That's actually the only reason why I picked it up. I was like, oh, foils are only $10. And I was like, oh, there's only 9. Fuck yeah, I'm getting a couple of these. Was there any more you wanted on the free sack outlet?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so what's our next category?
Hold on, I'm looking up Martyr's Cause. Son of a. All right, whatever. All right, let's go with Flicker. And so Flicker there is that difference between Blink. Blink tends to be, it leaves play and comes right back
immediately.
And immediately. And Insurrection would still get those creatures. And there aren't a lot of effects that allow you to target somebody else's creatures. And so that would be the ideal situation, right? Where they steal your creature, you target the insurrected creature, and it comes back to you.
Yeah.
There just isn't that effect at this point. It's always
targeting your creature.
Your creature that you control. And then and so that's the case. But what Flickering does is it removes your creature from the game, and it comes back at the end of the turn, or
next end step or whatever. Yeah,
it's just not instantaneous. And so Flickering allows your creatures to leave and not be stolen by Insurrection, and then they come back into play. You're not necessarily able to block with them, but you're removing them from combat and lessening a lot of the damage happening.
This scenario, I will say, is the opposite of the free sack outlet or sacking your creature outlet, because I think at this point, if all of yours are gone and the other players are going to that player, you're the sole target because you are getting your creatures back and they aren't getting damage. You know what I'm saying? I think if they have the option of killing 2 players, you're going to be one of the players, and whoever else has the strong creatures. Maybe, because they also are getting their creatures back too. So maybe not.
Creature backs.
Yeah. So maybe not. But this one, so
I think there's 2 main ones.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think we both agree with that.
So the main idea, this is kind of 3 of them in the same package, but it's Semester's End, which is brand new from Strixhaven. What that one does is, I think it's 1 white and 3 colorless. And actually I have it pulled up right here. 1 white, 3 colorless instant. Exile any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers. And then at the beginning of your end step, they come back into play. If they're a creature, they have a 1/1 counter on it. If it's a planeswalker, it has an additional loyalty counter. That's also similar to Eerie Interlude, Ghostway, and then
Teferi's Protection. Sorry, what?
No, that's not in this. But so those are the 3, and they're all white cards. So this is just dealing, and then that's what you're going to kind of have with a flicker effect most of the time. What was the other route with this
one that I brought to the table was Glorious Protector, and we had this on our list for Keldheim. And this is a flashing angel. When it comes into play, remove all your creatures from the battlefield until Glorious Protector leaves the battlefield. And so it's a lot longer than a flicker effect, but they're just getting that 3/4 angel instead of all of your creatures.
Right. Yep. And so all those there's some spot flicker stuff. I wouldn't even waste your time with those. So those don't even, I mean,
because they're like 2 mana, right? To do it. And with Eerie Interlude and Ghostway, that's 3 mana. And the Semester's End is 3 mana or 4 mana?
4. That one's 4. But because they come in with a 1/1 counter back, so
that ain't a bad thing either.
And it targets your planeswalkers as well.
I think I would just go with, because it's applicable in different places as well, not just Insurrection, like Eerie Interlude, and we'll probably talk about when if we get to the like Wrath of God section, like Eerie Interlude, Ghostway are good cards against that as well. And
I have those in decks. I have those in multiple decks.
Just as common. They're going to be much higher used than Teferi's what? Something.
Well, funny thing is the only blue one on the spot removal is a Teferi's Time Twist. That one is just the spot one, but everything else is white for a flicker because that's what flicker does.
It's kind of a thing they do.
All right, so then we move on to bounce removal, or I say bounce removal.
Just
package.
Removal.
I didn't scratch it out. Scratch it out, Adam. The removal package, which might deal with bounce stuff, but that's kind of the removal. You're getting rid of it off the board.
Yeah.
And so that's why these are all together. So the complete obvious one, which this will be on our list at some point, but Cyclonic Rift. Yeah.
Son of a... You just Cyclonic Rift somebody's Insurrection.
I get nothing.
At least their creatures go back to their hand then.
Oh, wait a second though. So yeah, no, you would cast, you don't want to cast this when they do Insurrection. You want Insurrection to resolve.
Yes.
And then you do Cyclonic Rift because you don't want your creatures to just come all at you. So Cyclonic Rift is the easy one. Similar stuff is like Evacuation, which returns all creatures to their hand. Aetherize, which is all attacking creatures.
Go top or bottom of the deck.
That one's Aetherspouts.
Oh, that's Aetherspouts.
Aetherize is to the hand.
To hand. Yeah, that sounds right.
Aetherspouts is that player puts the creature on the top or the bottom of the library. And then what do we have for removal stuff?
So some other things that you can think about doing is like tapping those creatures at instant speed. So there's like Aurelia's Fury, which I have in like a feather deck, which works perfectly in there. And that's just like X. You deal 1 damage to all these creatures. They all tap. And
really quick, weren't we going to do that in the damage prevention part?
No, I just put it in removal because you can deal damage to those creatures and kill them as well. Would you put Turnabout in prevention as well?
I was putting my tapped stuff in the prevention stuff.
Cut.
Yeah. All right, Larry, probably what do we have for removal?
All right, so we have Starstorm, Cometstorm, Fault Line Storm, and Magmaquake Storm.
What? Magmaquake Storm?
All right, just Magmaquake.
That just has a Storm from X-Men just sitting there.
So they're just instant speed red X spells that deal a lot of damage to all X amount of creatures type thing.
All red spells.
Yeah. Yep. And so their removal. The other thing that I was thinking about with like Cometstorm is just if somebody does an insurrection and they're going to win the game, if you have that instant speed like fireball effect, and Fault Line will deal damage to people as well. Maybe even Starstorm. I don't think so. But if you just kill them before they can attack or like before the insurrection actually resolves, that's probably a good situation too, right? Just like kill them.
Well, is it though? Because in that situation, wouldn't you want to see how their attacks went down?
Sure. You can do that as well.
Because you want to go, okay, if I just take out their creature that's attacking me, yeah. I mean, that's how I'd almost play that out, is let them take the creatures and then see how their attacks went down. Yeah. I mean, in this scenario,
well, right now,
they're killing all three of us.
We're saying that they're killing all three of you.
Yeah. But if they attacked you with their creatures, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you can take out theirs and let him kill the other two people and you survive, but then you get all your creatures and they have less of their creatures. But if they all out attack just you with your own creatures, then yeah, obviously you go straight to the face, you're dead. But yeah, I like those. I like the X damage. I didn't even think of those. I was going like removal stuff with it. So I went settle the wreckage, which would be fucking ridiculous.
They get a lot of basic lands.
It depends on this scenario. Maybe everybody's only at 5 life and really it isn't that many creatures attacking, but most of the time they're going to get a ton of freaking lands, be able to cast whatever they want. But also these are really high casting. All these are white, but Route and Fate Retribution, which is they're kind of like instant speed wraths, but they're really expensive. I believe Fate Retribution is like 7. I think it's 3 white and 4. So
that's a lot.
And Route is 2 white and 3, and it's a sorcery, but you can pay 2 more.
So 7.
And it goes, it's a 7 again. So you 7. I would
plan on it.
Settle the Wreckage is one that I would think about doing, because that one is an exile effect too. So it's not just
Settle seems right.
Yeah.
And then you just make sure that you have Zozu the Punisher on your side as well, and they take 2 damage for each of them if they wanted to go get it. That's fine.
Yeah. Plan it out.
That is my king deck. That's
all right. Now we get to the, what are we calling this package? Just the
prevention. So
no condoms in this package at all.
No, all condoms.
Lots of
These
condoms.
are straight
Sorry.
condoms.
Just condoms everywhere.
Yeah, they're like stuck to the wall. It's very gross.
Are they used?
Yeah, that's how they're sticking. What?
Oh, I didn't.
Somebody flung them there. That was...
when Nick and I were kids.
Oh,
whoa! No. This is a real estate story that my mom would always tell. You probably heard of it, where because mom was in real estate, all my mom would talk about was real estate. And we were at daycare or day camp or whatever, after school stuff. Actually, no, it was summer. So it was summer camp. And they were doing construction at the place we were at. And there was this big dirt mound that has nothing to do with the story. But when we were on there, we found a condom in like this mix in this field.
Oh. And
so my mom picked us up, and Nick's like, my brother Nick was like, Mom, you'll never guess what we saw on the playground today. And she's like, what? And I was like, shut up, Nick. Shut up. And he's like, we found a condominium. No, he said a duplex. He said, we found a duplex on the baseball field. I was like, shut up, Nick. Oh, you're an idiot. It wasn't a duplex. We found a condominium. Anyways, I screwed up the punchline by saying them in the wrong order, but whatever. All right.
Was that real? Was that a real story?
That is a real
made
story.
Up joke?
No, my mom freaking told us whenever she did like speeches, and even if she did that now, she would tell that because she was in real estate, and that's what I did, or we did. All right. So protection. There's a couple ways of doing this. There's either the complete prevention or the tapping aspect or neutering creatures. Either way, this is making it so that insurrection person isn't doing what they were planning on doing, winning the game. So why don't you start us off, Flyer, with a couple of yours there?
So the ones that I kind of like, I'm stealing the one that we, again, from Strixhaven. They kind of...
They have a lot on our list here. This is my favorite by far.
So there is the creating creatures preventing damage little section. So there is Ink Shield, which is creating 2/1. Yeah, 2/1 inks. Similar card would be Arachnogenesis, which is a fucking like $20 card. And it's fantastic. And then there's
the one that
also
makes, the spiders, right?
The 1/2 spiders.
Yep.
And then there's also Flurry of Wings, which doesn't prevent damage, but it's green, white, blue, create a 1/1 bird for each creature attacking you. And so you're getting a lot of tokens to be able to block and choose what you want. And I feel like that's a solid, just like if you're playing a token deck in Bant, I would play that. If you have Anointed Possession, it doubles. If you have the angel making from tokens, like that gets crazy. So I was just thinking that could be a really good way of like stopping all of those. And if you just need all those creatures to be stopped, you got it.
Yep.
Yep.
Some other ones I had Ensnare, which is, I think it's 1 blue and 3
colorless.
And or you can bring 2 islands to your hand and cast it for free, but it just taps all creatures. Sudden
and we
Spoiling.
can add Turnabout and Aurelius Fury into that as well.
Yep.
So like there's a bunch of cards that just like tap all creatures.
Yep. One I think is used a little bit more, but Sudden Spoiling, that helps with removing all their abilities, turns them into old ones and all that stuff. So it can be used in other situations. Same with Polymorphosis Jest, which turns them into 1/1 frogs.
Yeah.
Then also you have fog effects, so like Constant Mist, fog, all that stuff. But one that you mentioned.
What would you say about like creatures on the board, like Spore Frog and like Spike Weaver? Where
and I wouldn't, because they would see them.
They would.
And we're doing that. This player is looking at the board, knows what's out there.
They would more than likely try and force you to use those before the insurrection happens.
Yeah, because I'll go back really quick to like we talked about this in Unsnipped, but like if I see the player has Viscera Seer out or Ashnod's Altar for Viscera Seer, Wolfstrider, a creature that sacrifices, I for sure I'm casting Insurrection to try to get them to sacrifice it all, because if they don't sacrifice Viscera Seer,
you are.
Yeah, that player that takes it will sacrifice everybody's creature. So that's another thing that we're doing this as this player knows what they're doing. They realize what the board state is and what's on there.
Yeah.
One that you mentioned last week that I really like is Comeuppance, because that can kill the player, because you could prevent the damage and straight back to that player, especially if they're killing you, then ideally they're getting killed as well, because that damage is going back.
I think we should probably read that one. So I think it's the creature damage deals damage to the creatures, and then if it's like an instant or sorcery, that's dealt back to the player.
Come up. It's weird that we're talking about I stayed on that M for way too long. Prevent all damage that will be dealt to you and planeswalkers you control this turn by sources you don't control. If damage was from a creature is prevented this way, it deals that much damage to that creature. Good point. If it was a non-creature, it deals back to the face. So still it would end up killing your creature, but you survive. So that's that. But one that I think would be really, really sweet in this situation, and we talked about this a little bit beforehand, but Illusionist Gambit, because what this does, it's 2 blue, 2 colorless instant. You cast it only during declare blocker steps on an opponent's turn. So this fits perfectly for this scenario. And then it's remove all attacking creatures from combat and untap them. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Each of those creatures attack that combat if able. They cannot attack you or a planeswalker you control. So you're not saving the rest of the table. You're killing them. You're overkilling them, because all those creatures have to attack the other players. It isn't just the creatures that are only attacking you or the untapped. It's untap all attack, remove all attacking creatures from combat and untap them. So they're all attacking again, but now they're only attacking your opponents. So the player that casts Insurrection is still alive, but your other two opponents are dead. And so then it's just left with you and your opponent, or the person that casts Insurrection. You're checking on my my work.
I'm trying to get there, but
I was trying
autofilling to the wrong thing.
I was like, I'm trying to reread it so that you can get it a little more and just tap dancing a little bit.
Cast a spell. Remove all attacking creatures from combat, and removing all of them.
Yeah, it's not just the ones attacking you.
And then they can't attack. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And I think similar casting cost to that would be Reigns of Power, which is 2 blue, 2 colorless, and exchange all creatures you control with another player, and you get theirs. And so after Insurrection,
all the creatures, they would get 0.
Yeah,
it just nullifies it completely. But in this scenario, your other two opponents are dead.
Yeah, they're dead.
Yeah,
they're real dead.
Because, but there was one other card that you play in Feather that's taps creatures down, does 1 damage to them.
Oh, Aurelia's Fury, and like that taps them down and stopping those creatures from attacking you. Same thing with Turnabout. You can choose to have all of those creatures tap, kind of like Ensnare. Another card, like I think the fog effects are not used enough. If that makes sense.
Well, and then when you use them, then Lowry just targets you because he doesn't like Constant Miss.
Constant Miss is a pain in the ass.
It's a fog effect. And the one time I was using it, you're like, he has it. Fucking come after him. Get him. Make him use all his goddamn lands.
And nobody did it except for me and you. Kept on sacking lands, but another one that I really like is Selfless Squire, which is white, 3 colorless, and prevent all damage that would be dealt to you, and then put a 1/1 counter on it for all of those. I had a Gishath deck all out attack me one time. I prevented like 24 damage, so it turns into like a 27/27.
So it has flash on it?
Yeah. Oh. Yep. And so then it comes around to me. I have like a 27/27. I Chandra's Outburst, deal 27 damage to each creature and player, and they all die. I was like, boom. So it's a pretty sweet one. It gets huge quick if you
good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And the last little section that's kind of like prevention is stopping your opponents from having an attack phase at instant speed. And so the face card for this would be like Orim's Chant, which is white instant. They skip an attack phase, and then you can also kick it for a white, and then they can't play any more spells. And then you also like Festival and Moment's Peace are also 1 white instant, skip an attack step. And Intimidation Bolt was in my Feather deck, and that's 3 damage to any creature, which in Feather you choose yours, and then no creatures can attack this turn.
So it's kind of like a fog effect in a way.
Yeah, it just stops Insurrection being able to attack.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of like a little angle that I was going for too. I think Urim's Chant, because with Urim's Chant, you can put that on like Isakron's Scepter, and then when you cast it, you can pay a white to kick it. And that's a really cool thing that you can do. Like Scepter's played a whole ton, and you can lock down one opponent. Like you can do it during their upkeep. Like if you're just trying to loop that, you just do it on that player's upkeep. They can't attack and they can't play spells unless it's instant speed in response to that. So,
well, you wouldn't do it on their upkeep with that because
I'm just saying in general.
Another, yeah.
And so it's very usable in that sense, but being able to do it in response to Insurrection is pretty sweet as well.
Sweet. Hey, we got through it. Glad we didn't do 2 cards because that was 45 minutes right there.
Yeah, that's dang good.
Yeah. All right. So.
Oh, spot removal.
No. Oh yeah, and then just
We're
spot.
just saying spot removal.
Yeah, that's not. We're not
Kill
gonna,
creatures so that you survive.
Yeah. Don't kill your own, but again,
whatever's attacking you.
I guess what I wanted to do at the end is, what are your favorites? I think out of this, my favorites with this is obviously Ink Shield, because you not only prevent that damage, you get all your creatures back plus these 2/1s that you prevent. I would
say Arachnogenesis for me.
Similar to that. Illusionist Gambit seems fun because you're also having the other players get killed, but also in both of those scenarios, what you just talked about and Ink Shield, the other players are still dying and you're still alive. I
play Eerie Interlude a lot.
Yep. I
like that card a ton.
So would you, I play that Ghostway. I
don't own Ghostway because it's expensive. So I'm just waiting for
I got it because of that's my wall deck, because I want them to leave play, come back with all the ETBs of drawing and all that stuff.
That makes sense.
But the Semester's End might make its appearance in some decks here, because that seems kind of cool, being able to come back into play with more counters. They're bigger. It also affects your Planeswalkers as well, which is kind of nice. And then the one that I mentioned, I know it's the Spec one, but I didn't know about that card, but that Martyrs Cause.
Martyr's a word.
I know what a martyr is. It just doesn't.
I said that way meaner than I intended.
Yeah, you did sound like a dick. Like,
sorry.
How do you not know this? He's such a dummy.
I'm such a dick. I'm sorry.
Wait, here we go.
One.
You can't even read.
That's you. You're Billy Madison right there. You just. And I'm the kid. One, two.
I apologize.
No, but that one I dig a lot because it is a free sack outlet for white. Which is there any others on the list with no?
Yeah, we missed it. There is one in. I have Martyr's Cause, and then the other enchantment that I'm thinking of, and you sacrifice a creature and you get to regenerate target creature, and that's white, 2 colorless enchantment. And but think of I don't recall what it.
Martyr's Cause, like, you're preventing their creatures from doing anything. You know, you're kind of in this scenario. You're probably the first one out because then everybody still has their creatures. Or you just target the main guys, the big ones that will kill everybody. But that one I thought was surprising. I didn't know about that one. Other than that, more of the fog effects seem like the most fun.
Yeah.
And
the cool thing about Martyr's Cause too is that it's from one source, so it could be instants and sorceries as well.
Mm. But I think the best in this are the ones that can turn around and kill that player or players afterwards. So like the Ink Shield, the spider, what is it called again? Arachnogenesis. That one's, you make a 1/2 spider for each attacking creature. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Is it attacking you or each attacking creature?
Nah, attacking you.
Okay.
But the damage from the attacking creatures is prevented, but the spiders can still deal damage.
Do they have death touch?
No. But
you don't want your creatures to die, because most likely in this scenario, your creatures are getting attacked back at your face.
But I mean, like, you can block those other creatures.
That's what I'm saying, is you block them all. You still have the 1/2s. You still have your creatures after Insurrection. The other 2 players are dead. That's the best scenario in this, is you're using that Insurrection. You don't want to save the table if everybody's going to die. Let those other 2 fuckers go. Yes. You save yourself and you make it a powerhouse going back at that player. So I think Ink Shield, that not as high as on Comeuppance, because it is going to wipe out your own creatures. So I think those are my favorites, those 2.
I agree.
Because it allows
I like them quite a bit.
Potentially win. All right, so let's move.
Secret Lair.
Yeah.
Should we get
Gandalf it because it's a kind of a spec?
Yeah, it's one
in the common tongue.
Yeah.
It says one
spec
to rule them all.
Spec
To fight them. one
Spec.
to bring them all, and in the darkness, find them.
All right. Normally in one spec, we are picking one spec from a set, and Larry's fluffing his beard. And then we're just putting on the money and whatever.
I'm not a fluffer.
That's not what I heard. So in this, we're just going to talk about the new Secret Lair that just will technically drop today as we're recording this, but it's going on for the next month. I'm gonna go through the price with this stuff. We're gonna kind of just talk about if this seems worth it or not. So
yeah.
First one we are talking about is the Super Shock Bundle. This is a non-foil. It's awesome. They have the shocks. We kind of have been talking about this, hoping that they'd make the shocks. We got it, and it wasn't a. Here's the thing about it. We got it. It wasn't an exclusive LGS, which is. I know the LGSs are, it's good to have them have that, but they've been giving them all the fetches and like the flip lands, which the flip lands, I think they delayed it. I think that's coming out soonish, or
I don't even know why you would give them the flip lands.
Yeah,
like they're worse than the shocks.
Yeah. So I was worried that this would go to the LGSs. It isn't, but then I was like, okay, full art. Yeah, let's get that. No, that didn't happen. All right, let's at least get foil. No, didn't happen.
No.
So
new art. It's new art.
But it is giving everybody an opportunity to own the shocks. And if you spend $120, you can get every single shock. Some of them you can get two of. The ones you get two of are Hallowed Fountain, Temple Garden, Watery Grave, Blood Crypt, and Stomping Ground. If you just go by the value of shocks, we just got them rotated from Ravnica, Return to Ravnica, all that, or Ravnica Allegiance, all that stuff. They get down to about 10, and then they come back up to 15 and eventually get back to 20. At 15, you're looking at $225. So you're at about $100 over. That's if you try to sell it right away. I think these are going to get over 20 at some point. You wait a year, 2 years, maybe. These would definitely be over 20 because they aren't going to have the same art again. It's the only place you're seeing it. They're not, when they reprint shocks, which they will in standard, they won't have this art. They're never going to have this art again. It's only in Secret Lair. Why are you shaking your head?
It won't be this art. I was agreeing with you by shaking my head no.
What are your thoughts on the shocks? What do you think about that package?
You want my shock thoughts?
Uh-huh.
No, I think it's a good, especially if you don't own them, and you're new to Magic. I would pick this up. I'm probably just going to get one. I don't like. What would you think about, like, if you're flipping this? Definitely makes sense to me. But if you're just going for a collection, I'd probably just buy two. And then you get four. You get four of half of them, and then you get two of on the other half. Because, I mean, you could go and get like four of the bundle and spend almost $500, and then you get four of every one, and then you can, trade or sell away another like 10, like two extras of each.
That's if you're trying to do the playset stuff.
That'd be 8. Yeah, that's true too. But I mean, lands are used in everything, and if you're not proxying, it makes
we don't have 4 extra proxy time, proxy of the week of shocks yet. It'll be there eventually. You got to get through these duels. Okay, so this is you're probably going to buy one for the collection.
I know we were talking about it beforehand. Like, I think I'm just going to get. I don't think I'm going to get it. I should. I probably should.
What?
Yeah, I know. I should.
What? This one's probably the best deal of all of them, but
I have all of them. I have a playset. I have.
So you wouldn't change up the arts with these? I mean, these are pretty.
Well,
pretty
all of mine are also proxied. So the ones that I use are proxied.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like I don't even look at them. I'm glad that I have 4 of, but.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah, that was the bubble. And so, like, it would definitely be something that I would want to sell or like, like spec on.
Yeah.
But I'm just not willing to do that right now.
All right. Okay. So that was.
I probably should. We'll see.
Okay.
I might still.
You got a month. And they don't even charge you right away. They don't charge you until they're shipping it. So that's the weird thing is I'm like, I bought all the stuff that I was getting and I'm like, I have the money right here and I'm ready to, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah. They don't even charge you my card until 3 months.
I think they learned the lesson because we didn't even get like the money back from that ultimate edition that got us that pretty picture back there. But they held on to like $500 for like 3 months.
Made some profit off of that with investing or interest.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Sure. All right. So next one is the Strixhaven Showcase card. So this one features All Is Dust, Artifact Mutation, Drown in the Lock, Fire Covenant. Yes. Fire Covenant, Fractured Identity, Fracturing Gust. Non-foils are going for 30. Foils are for 40. The cost of all this, so the non-foils, you're spending 30. Value is about 35. Foils, you're spending 40. Value is about 61. Only stipulation here is Fractured Identity. There isn't a foil printing because it's only printed in Commander products. So I just made that the same value as the non-foil because I have no idea where that's going to go. So you're looking at a $20
Fire Covenant not having a foil either.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, that was printed in Ice Age.
What? I thought I had all those down. Oh, Masters Edition. That's an online. Good point. So we have two of them, that don't have foil printings of this. So, and also again, it's the Mystical Archive look to these. So they look pretty sweet.
They look awesome.
Yep. I dig a lot of these. So I bought some of these. So we'll get to that in a little bit. What do you think about these though? So you like the look of these?
I would get these in foil, and I use almost all of these cards. Like I All Is Dust, Artifact Mutation is fantastic. Drown in the Lock. I haven't used that, but it's a standard card, so it takes a while to get those. I have used Fire Covenant. I actually haven't used Fractured Identity, but I know it's a card that's pretty cool. So I like all the cards. I love all the art. The foil will probably look fantastic, and I'm very happy with this foil. Totally makes sense to me in foil.
Yep. All right. So, and then we get into, I didn't write down the whole thing, but it's our show is next Friday. On Friday, will you be there? I think is what it's called. So this one is only in non-foil. All this art is the like rock kind of, not rock, it's like poster.
It's acid rock posters.
Yeah. So you have Decree of Pain, Gamble, Nature's Lore, Preordain, and Wrath of God. Nature's Lore looks fucking fantastic. The others are pretty good. Really what's holding this price up is the Gamble. So you have $30 for that. Price comes out to about 42. I think that one's a good one after I think all these are going to be hits at some point.
Yeah.
Because Gamble's going to get there with this one. I want to see the Gamble with this, actually. The Gamble art again.
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around some of this stuff. Like it's
weird because, again, it was my little beef with the metal ones, which they're cool, but it's like, it doesn't look like Magic anymore. It's like, but that's what's cool. It's a Secret Lair. I think these are gonna sell pretty good.
Yeah, and my problem with this one is probably I use these cards less. Like I don't really use Gamble. Nature's Lore clearly is being used a lot. I don't really use Preordain, and I don't really like this art. I don't use Wrath, and I don't think I'm using Decree of Pain. And I don't think I've used that in a long time. So
it's more of the use of this one that you don't like.
Yeah, and I'm not like a huge fan of the art either. Like for some other than Nature's Lore, like for some reason that's like that. It's like an elk owl.
An elk owl
with horned feathers. Look at that stuff. It's got like
no,
a crown.
I have to pull it up. I didn't even have it up right now. Nature's Lore.
But yeah, that one, like the color palette is awesome for me. Like I dig it a lot.
Oh yeah, that one. I get it. I see where you say it just looks like really bushy eyebrows, but I get it. Elk eye. I get it. All right. All right. And then we get into Lowry's favorite. What is this one called again?
Fuck. All right. It is.
Let you read this one?
No. It's stupid. All right.
I just called it full text lands, but you actually had the Vicarious readers.
It's Voracious Reader Bundle.
So, well, no, that's only the bundle. You can buy these separate. So you can buy
stupid. They're full text land foil edition or non-foil. It's just stupid edition.
This is gonna get so many people. I think number 2 loves this one. But the non-foils, which means you get one of each land. It's just full text box of what the land, what it does, how you tap lands, out what basic lands are. That's 30. Foils are 40. I don't even know where these are going to go. I don't know what price these will be at. So I didn't even put a price. You can get the bundles.
Even care. I don't even
get the
care.
bundles, which will give you 10 of each. Non-foils is $240. So you save $60. Foils are $320, which saves you $80. So there's that if you wanted to get those. All right. The last part of this. If
I were to buy these, I'd punch myself. But it's just a lot. The bundle's a lot.
Yes, don't get the bundle. Just get them separate. Or
what? I'm not gonna. I mean, it'd have to be in the way that I bought the rock lands, the metal lands.
Yeah.
So like buying 4 of them because my 3 color decks use 4 basic lands. And so I'd have to go with like 40, 80, 120, 160 for basic lands again. Probably not. Yep.
Or
not doing that.
You go with the main event, which for $260, you get all of that I just talked about for $260. You save 30. Technically, they try to make it seem like you save a lot more, like 100 or more than that, because if you think of the super shock bundles 120, instead of buying each one of those, you can buy, I forgot to mention that, you can buy each one of those 5 bundles because they're in bundles. That's why you get multiples of certain ones, because it's in like Bant or whatever. It's fitting those, what would you say? The houses. Now I'm going back to Harry Potter. But anyways, if you go by the super shock bundle, instead of buying each one of those individually, it's 120. So it equals out to 290. You're saving $30. You get everything, the non-foils, the foils, and all that. That equals out to $363. That does not include the full text lands, which I have no idea where those are going to price out at. So it's like freebies. So you're about $100 up if you buy the main event, including the full text lands. So really, this is probably the one to go for. But,
yeah.
So, personally, I went for the main event for one. And then I was like, well, I want to get two of the ones I really like. So I was only going to go foils for the Strixhaven. Our show is on Friday. You have to get a non-foil. The foil full text, the foil or the super shocks. And so then I was like, well, if I was going to get 2 of those anyways, I went and got 2 of the bundles, the main events. And then I got a couple of these shock lands because I think that those are easy buys there too. If you were to do this, if you're going to do this, what are you going to buy?
This out. Because, okay, so you get, what is shipping if it's below $100? Is it like $15?
15 or 20, yeah.
Yeah, so like
I don't know because I've never done it.
Yeah, I think it's like $15 for shipping
for
if you're below 100. And so I'm like looking at the Showcase Strixhaven foil edition. I'm like, I would buy one of those. I was like, $40 is a good price. 55, not so much. So you start like doing math in your head and you're like, okay, so do I want to buy like 2 of those foil and then maybe our show is on Friday. The Acid Rock
I think
one
you should
for
get
30.
the full text lands. I think full text
it
lands.
just makes me so angry. Like, God damn it. Why are they doing this to me? And so I think I'm back to, I mean, that's where, and then you go back to, okay, Super Shock bundle makes a ton of sense. It's 120. And then I add on 1 of the foil, puts me at 160. I'm like, do I want to pay $160? No. So maybe I can bring it down to like 110, and do.
I love this. Or
I think I'm going to get 2 of the foil edition Strixhaven Showcase ones and then an Acid Rock one for 30. Put me at 110.
Boom.
I think that's where I'll want to be. I can totally avoid. I mean, the main event is enticing though.
Yeah, the reason why I went with the main event is because I was going to get my cost for what I was going to get one of for my collection was $230. Like just buying those outright. And I was like, well, if I spend $30 more, I get a bonus basically. I get the 2 of the non-foil things that I wasn't going to buy. So I was like, okay, well, and then I was going to do it all again. I was going to get 2 of everything at least. So I could sell one of them, make my money back from what I spent on the one. And that's my goal, is always to get this stuff for free. Technically in the end, get it for free, make money off of it. So that's why I doubled it up. I was like, well, again, if I'm buying 2 of everything to sell one of them, $30 again, I'll get an additional whatever. And then I went in on the one that I feel like has the most money potential, which is the Shocks. The Shocks are a no-brainer. They printed them multiple times. They're going to get over 20. These are going to get over 20 within 2 years. I think it may hit there sooner, but I think in 2 years, these will be over 20. And they could even go higher because they're the special ones. Unless they come out with another special thing, then that hinders it a little bit. But now that they hit Shocks, I don't think they're going to come in Secret Lair again.
Probably not, no. So I know this might sound crazy, but I'm sitting here thinking in my head, I might go foil full text lands at $40 3 times.
Didn't you say you were going to punch yourself?
And then one of the Strixhaven foil.
You're going to punch yourself. It would have been funny if you would have been like, I know this is crazy, but I think I'm going to do the bundle and get 10 of the foil. I'm going to drop $320 and get 10 of them. But these lands, this is what we've kind of been asking for when they've done it before with like the Godzilla land, or all the other ones that they've printed. I would have totally done this with that rock one, the ones that it's just like the really cool symbol and all that, the full art thing. I would have done that with the full art land there.
Yeah,
if they would have had a bundle.
I think my issue with it is they're like trying to avoid the big thing. Like I understand a little bit of why they're doing 1 per, because then like that's part of the collection. But like efficiency wise, I would want just to buy 10 in one, and then be able to pick a couple out, not all 5. And so maybe cut this by 2/3 of a price.
Picky.
I'm just saying that's what I would do if I'm trying to make the most money and actually like spend the most money. So like I would, if, and so
I guess my next question
I'm not going to
is
do the basic lands.
I'm
just not going to. It's stupid.
You should let us know what you actually end up buying. Stupid. If you buy it, I feel like you might not even buy, but like, cause Is the Strixhaven one, you use a lot of those. Is that grabbing you enough? I think, isn't that the only thing that's pulling you in at this point?
Yeah, that's the only thing that's pulling me in right now.
And so now you're trying to justify to get over 100.
Yes, that's where I'm at. I'd be super happy with 40, not happy with 55.
Okay. So,
and then
why wouldn't you buy the shocks at 120?
Because I don't want to spend 160.
Yeah, listen though. Buy it for a 120 and just turn around and sell them all.
Because they don't sell.
Well, I'll get to teach you or trade them away and get all your money's worth off of that. Because like I said, your value is over $200. You're spending 160. And if you turn around and sell every single one of those back, you're making money off of it and you get your stuff for free. You spend 160 and then you're making money and you get whatever you wanted out of that.
Thank you for talking me out of the basic lands again. So that's easy. Like just getting the shocks is such a better deal.
And you don't even need to keep them. You keep the ones that you want and you can sell your other shocks because you have the full play set. So you can sell those shocks and make your money because they're 15. Those are 15. The cheapest they are $15 right now. So 15. And then now once it's out of print for a while, those will be 20 at some point. You could turn around right now and make your money back. I just got to teach you how to do eBay or TCG. Actually, that's what I think you should do. So one of us can get the lingo of TCG and the other one knows the eBay because you know the lingo of CardSphere. CardSphere, you're doing lots of trades with all that stuff.
All right. Just got my Goldspan Dragon in today. It's dope.
Oh, dang it. I wasn't on. Oh, good for you.
Oh, good for you.
Good job.
So yeah, I'll probably go Super Shock bundle and then the foil Strixhaven Masterpiece.
Just makes the most sense. You get your money back. Yeah. You get it for free. You get it for free and you get
I half thought about the main event, but I
that's not a bad idea either.
I know. I don't want those basic lands.
If you put in the effort of that though, like again, you buy that for 260, you turn around, you sell those shocks for 225. Now you're what? 35 $35 off of that 260. You sell one of the other things and you get all the other stuff for free.
Yeah, I'm like, one thing is I'm wondering if like that just is a bad idea too, right? Like maybe I get the super bundle and then just one extra of like the $30 basic lands. And then like it's usable then because like, no, I'd have to get two. Nope. That's not going to happen. Never mind. Because I don't want to buy like cards that just aren't going to be usable when it comes to basic lands. And I need at least 4 of, but I wouldn't really like the mix and match of like foil, non-foil.
You know what you should do is just go with the basic lands, get 4 of them, gets you over 100, and then get.
I don't think so.
No, to be honest with you, those aren't for me because I like art. But I'm getting them.
Laughed so hard when I saw it, and then I choked just seeing the price. Basic lands should be cheaper.
Well, they haven't been anything lower than 30.
No, they haven't. I fully agree, and they're keeping consistent, and that's what makes it so hard to buy them.
All right, we need to wrap this up because we're getting to that 2-hour mark.
I've just been waffling for the last 10 minutes at this point.
I'm going to buy these full art or full text lands. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it. No. All right. Well, that should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
Sega.
Are all the sets of boobies?
Oh, shit.
And I love boobs. I'm talking.
I went the wrong one.
I love boobs. I'm bonkers for honkers. I love boobs. Thanks for the memories. I love boobs.
You motorboating son of a bitch.